Hoje é quinta, 19 de setembro, entra no ar neste momento mais um giro de notícias. John Textor ontem esteve no estádio Newton Santos. Ele conversou com a imprensa ali após a partida, né? Conversou primeiramente com os detentores dos direitos de TV, ESPN, Globo, e colocou algumas falas que eu irei colocar aqui para vocês, né? E também na entrevista ali de mais ou menos 9 minutos que o empresário norte-americano concedeu para os outros jornalistas que estavam na zona mista, incluindo o nosso amigo Pedrinho Brandino, o repórter da galera. Irei colocar aqui para vocês todas essas falas do John Textor. Galera, mostrando aqui para vocês, são 2h53, e se a tradução não estiver ipsilitris no que é colocado pelo John Textor, eu peço desculpas, mas o sentido estará aqui bem colocado para vocês, mas eu tentei fazer da melhor maneira possível para essas falas do John Textor serem colocadas nesse nosso giro de notícias. Então roda a vinheta que daqui a pouco eu tô de volta. Amigos, estou aqui no Hotel Baby Norte, que fica próximo ao estádio Newton Santos. Hoje novamente encontrei com vários amigos botafoguenses, a galera se hospedando aqui. Infelizmente não vou lembrar o nome da galera toda, mas gente de todas as partes. Espírito Santo, Minas Gerais, galera do Nordeste, várias áreas do Nordeste do Brasil, aqui acompanhando o jogo do nosso fogão. E todo mundo que encontrou, né, que utilizou o cupom do canal do TF teve 10% de desconto e com certeza vai poder utilizar outras vezes em outros jogos. Então se você está querendo vir em algum jogo do Botafogo, tem o Baby Norte, que é aqui na zona norte do Rio, fica a 15 minutinhos do estádio Newton Santos. O link vou deixar aqui embaixo no primeiro comentário. Podem vir que vocês ficaram bem recebidos pela galera do Baby Norte. O John Textor falou ontem com a imprensa no estádio Newton Santos e disse, né, que ele enxerga que o Botafogo vai conquistar um título em breve.
I feel we're a better team. I think we have better balance. I think we're able to deal with the oscillations, you know, the ups and downs. I don't feel like the peaks and the valleys are quite as extreme now. I think on a bad day, we're better than we were last year on many of those good days. So maybe that gives you a championship, maybe it gives you a cup. I do feel that this club is going to compete for championships, and yeah, we're going to get one soon. I don't know if it's this year, next year, but I expect us to be competing at the top of the league for a long time.
Essas foram as palavras mais fortes do John Textor quando ele conversou com a galera do GE e com a galera da ESPN, né, que são veículos que detêm os direitos de TV da Copa Libertadores da América. E é isso, gente. O Botafogo está muito próximo de um título, não sabemos quando. A gente está mais próximo do que nós estivemos antes. Alguns podem me chamar de passador de pano pro Textor, mas ele não tem responsabilidade nenhuma de 2022 para lá, do que nós passamos antes por péssimas administrações. O trabalho dele tem que ser avaliado de 2022 para cá, que é quando ele assumiu a caneta e quando ele vem colocando o Botafogo competitivo, desde 22. 22 fomos competitivos, quase fomos para a Libertadores, 23 fomos competitivos, quase ganhamos o Campeonato Brasileiro, e nesse ano estamos sendo competitivos novamente, disputando o título da Libertadores e também do Brasileiro novamente. Uma hora a nossa sorte de ser campeão vai chegar. Eu acredito que possa ser esse ano. Mas uma frase dele me deixa muito feliz, que vamos ser competitivos sempre. Essa é a ambição que a gente busca de um dirigente. E o Textor tem esta ambição sendo colocada pra gente. Mas veja aí as palavras do John Textor dadas ali ao Pedrinho Brandino na zona mista de hoje. Fale aí, John Textor.
Yes, I was just saying a moment ago, I really appreciate Julio being here tonight. He was one of the first people to welcome me into Brazil in a very warm way. And so I know you all have been reporting a whole lot of conversations about everything from, you know, what happened last year and may or may not have happened last year and the financial fair play issues. So I think it's important for people to understand that presidents can still be friends. They can be very civil to one another. They can advocate for their public policy sort of viewpoints. But as a friend, I will say it was great to see him here. That was a true warm embrace, because we haven't seen each other in a long time. And as I said, he was back in the days of Libra. He was one of the people that really gave me the warmest welcome when I came to Brazil.
John, what can you say about people that keep talking about financial fair play, as you mentioned?
I think it's flattering, right? When I was here 2.5 years ago, I had 3 players that had played in Serie A bought the team on March 11th, 2022. It was reported that we bought it earlier when the contracts were signed, but that's not true. It was March 11th, and the season starts April 15th or something at that time. So we had to build from nothing. And so, yes, it's probably true in terms of investments in buying the contract rights to players, buying assets. I had to build from scratch, from nothing, whereas our competitors have big academies and they've got big revenues and they've got big budgets. So, of course, I would be spending more than they're spending to build my team, be competitive. I remember a really nasty 17-year-old fan that would always send me notes on Instagram. Most of the time it was hard, so he would tell me how much he loved me, and we'd lose a game, and it was nothing but, harsh language. But he said, just build for us a competitive team. We just want to compete. So that's what I've been doing. Secondly, related to that point, the SAF law that the legislature passed, I'm doing exactly what that law anticipated. So I don't know why it offends other clubs. The structure of those deals is they hand you the club and you commit to put a significant investment on the balance sheet. Well, would you rather me buy, posters and stanchions, or would you rather me buy assets, players that can grow in value? And our players are growing in value. If I buy a player for 20 million and he makes the Brazilian national team, well, then maybe he's worth 30. So the SAF law invited foreign investment. The contracts with the clubs require that I invest a lot of money. Now that I'm investing wisely, our revenues, I'm sorry to tell people this, but they're up 5 times from 20 million US dollars to 100 million US dollars in the 2.5 to 3 years since we've been here, right? So we're building an organization, we're building a team, we're making investments in players, and we're spending considerably less than the financial fair play guideline of 75% of our revenues on player salaries. These rules, and if an investor comes and takes advantage of the fact that we don't have the rules, well, we're in total compliance with every definition of financial fair play around the world. So I think I was the first to talk about financial fair play when I did my Globo interview. I said if we don't do something about a salary cap and we invite foreign investment and it comes from sovereign wealth nations with unlimited money and oil, like then we really have a problem. So I'm an advocate for financial fair play. But please don't come and look at Botafogo and say we're breaking the rules and we wouldn't be able to do this in other countries, because we would. Thirdly, is it thirdly? Right? Yeah, it was a long, number 2 was long. Right. So thirdly, the multi-club issue. We only have one advantage as a multi-club over other clubs. And I'll say what it is. It's called trust. I'll get to it in a minute. But when I have a problem with a center back and I need to go to another club somewhere else in the world and find a center back to come in, or when Cuiabana went down and I needed an additional left back, right, to support Marçal, I could go out to another club. I can make a deal with them. I can find somebody that's not playing a lot. I can bring him back here. I can find somebody that just came out of contract, like Alex Telles. Strange situation. He was out of contract all of a sudden. And whether I'm making a deal with another club or making a deal with one of my clubs, I still have to go to that player. Indentured servitude ended a long time ago. These players are human beings. They're not sheep. You don't just get to tell them where to go. So I have to go to the player, convince them of the project. This is why it's good for your career. Maybe you're not playing now, or maybe you're not under contract, but come to Botafogo and help us win championships. So the only thing, when you talk about fair play, every club in Brazil can do the same thing I do. Pick up the phone, call another club, find an athlete, sell them on the project, bring them to Botafogo. The reason people are coming to us now is they like our project, right? And if it wasn't Adrielson, who came from our club, it's Vitinho, who came from another club. It's Alex Telles, who came from another club, right? So fair play means everybody has the same opportunity. Every club can be a little more creative and do the things that I'm doing to fill the gaps on their roster. That's fair play.
John, you didn't travel to São Paulo against Palmeiras, probably because the relationship with Leila, but do you intend to travel to São Paulo to go to Morumbi next week?
Well, I mean, don't read too much into the fact that I don't go down to like Sao Paulo to watch a game. I mean, I do have a family that lives in Florida. I've got other clubs, and I do look at the calendar. I'll just admit it. I love the home games. I love the love. I don't really like going to other stadiums and watching people lift their middle finger at me. You know, it's just, or that expression, I'm not going to say it. The expression that the Sao Paulo fans were yelling at me when I was waving to them. But no, just because I don't go to another game doesn't mean anything. I might have a game at Lyon. Next week, I've got our first trip to Europa League, play Olympiacos. Olympiacos is owned by a very good friend of mine, Marinakis. I'm going to go to that game for that reason. I'm not avoiding Sao Paulo. I go through the airport in Sao Paulo all the time. People are very nice to me when they're not in the stands screaming at me. But in the airports and the malls, everywhere around Brazil, I think people do appreciate that I bring good ideas, bad ideas, but I do bring new ideas. And I feel a lot of love from fans around Brazil. So I'm not avoiding Sao Paulo next week. I'm going to be going to the Olympiacos Olympic Lyonnais game.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
E, como eu falei no começo do vídeo, se tiver ali alguma imprecisão na tradução, gente, são quase 3 horas da manhã que eu tô gravando esse vídeo, peço desculpas. Galera que fala inglês muito bem, fluente, peço desculpas, tá? Alguma coisinha tá errada, mas eu peço desculpas do coração. Eu acho que o sentido total deu pra entender, o Textor bastante animado, bastante firme nas suas declarações, engraçado em outras. Não é isso, torcer que tudo dê certo para o nosso Botafogo de futebol e regatas e que semana que vem a gente saia de São Paulo com a classificação para as semifinais da Copa Libertadores. Beijos, quem não deixou o like deixe, quem não é inscrito inscreva-se. Volto por volta de meio-dia com o nosso almoço com TF, por volta das 6 com o nosso Noite Alvinegra, almoço com TF com várias entrevistas feitas na zona mista pelo Pedrinho Brandino e também alguns trechos do técnico Arthur Jorge na coletiva. E à noite, mais informações do Botafogo e também o Léo Dantas fazendo a análise do jogo entre Botafogo e São Paulo. Tamo juntos, beijos, fiquem com Deus e fui, fogo neles, valeu.